and
Sounds good.
police say that's illegal. That they're infringing on your constitution, Second Amendment constitutional right. So they don't even follow their own doctrine. But when you have the military do it, or a military branch like the National Guard do it, there's huge significance in that because um, military's it's a sacred cow. So you never want to. People never believe that the military always fights for them, right? Um, the military always fights for freedom. So you're kind of a lot of the population, or most of the population has been brainwashed into believing that when really they're just fighting for uh, these slavers, slavers that want to dominate the planet, and so when you have a military branch do it, there's extreme significance in that, and history tends to repeat itself. You have the National Guard going in and confiscating guns, and then later on, you could have with the mass power outage, you could have that same effect. National Guard not only handing out supplies, but hey, there's been a lot of shootings. There's martial law now, and because there's martial law, we can now take away your guns. So I don't see it being too far fetched at all.
Yeah, no, I mean I don't know. It's scary. Get some of them they don't know about.
Yeah,
Yeah, we really got to
definitely
get
correct.
yeah, we definitely got to get Ivan on here at some point. I know he's been real busy, but he's supposed to come on at some point. He's really good with a lot of that shit, the gun control laws and everything, as well. But man, just some of the stuff they come out with over there, deterrence suspense is amazing.
Yeah,
Oh,
I love what they're doing. They're revolutionizing gun manufacturing,
it,
and they're doing it on a large scale without really spending that much money. They're just amazing, and they're creating their own gun parts and everything.
yeah,
And
and it's a few dudes like all over the world who are like and some of these guys. So I watched. I don't know if you watched Plastic Defense. It was the Popular Front, a little quick documentary, like 20 something minutes, really good. Where they go over to Europe and talk to Jay Stark, and he talks about how they, developed it. And like he was an engineer, like it's just it just makes me so like gives me like goosebumps when it's just like it's like it's just like decentralized, like inventions and industry and just the way that it comes about and works and people make these successful products. And it's like we're just so used to like, oh, if it's not dudes in white lab coats, it's not science. And I don't know, it just really makes me feel good. It's like we are very capable beings, when we're properly motivated and we want to achieve something, we want to solve a problem, we do it. We don't need this big machinery of government to inefficiently not solve our problems for us. We can do this. Like we have the power. Like we can do this. We can do whatever the fuck we want. It's great. Sorry, off on a tangent there, but yeah, get learn how to do this, guys. Get to printing. It's not that difficult. It really isn't. And there's some that you can make without having to buy any purchased gun parts. So um, should be a fun project. I'm not saying I'm doing it, but should be a fun project.
yeah,
What else we got, dude? That's probably
he's
good for
not doing it.
guns.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. No, I just print trinkets.
yeah, just little tiny gnomes, just gnomes. Um,
Just Dungeons and Dragons pieces. That's all.
yeah, Dungeons and Dragons for sure. So I think the EU. Let me see. There's something going on with the
I had
EU. What to know
Yeah, I
about
had
COVID
COVID
19
passport up next.
passports? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
EU outlines proposed COVID vaccine passport. Let me see. I saw an article saying that they actually passed something. I don't know if I can find that again, but um,
yeah. I think there's a few things in a couple other countries. Most of the stuff I was looking at was because I don't care about Europe. Those what I was looking at was like what may we expect here. So I'm not sure if they had anything in other places or not. It's funny though, just reading some of like the articles and stuff about this or any of the COVID stuff. It's just so like just the just the what's the word I'm looking for? Just like the viewer stance people have like a base on this is it's just crazy to me. So okay, so they're talking about like like, oh, while in the U.S. they struggled with this and that for COVID, places like New Zealand, they kept under control with rolling lockdowns whenever they had a flare up, and it's like, but if they had more than one lockdown, they weren't keeping shit under control, were they? Like were they really better off than we were here? I mean, where I live, I didn't really have much of a life change at all from this. I don't know anybody who died of it. I know plenty of people who got it. I don't know that not having rolling lockdowns was a bad way to handle this. So it's just funny, and it's I really do see people who like really pay attention to the media a lot. There's just so much fear, dude. Like I mean, you see it like in their eyes, like when you talk to them, like it's just everything. Oh man, and this and it's this and that, and oh my god, and I'm like, I don't know what you're like. I don't stay glued to the TV. I don't have the same fear, and the stuff that they say is just like. It's just awful. It's like, oh, well, you get COVID a second time. And it's like, when? Who does? Like, that doesn't, I don't think that's a thing. I think that they just read these scare articles and they just roll with it. But it's just, I don't know, man. It's no way to live, dude. That's just no way to live being that terrified. And then I was watching the other day, man, I was sitting in a bar and they had the TV on and they're like, they had a news article, or I'm sorry, a news story about how people are so stressed and terrified about this. And here's things you can do to, not be so stressed and da-da-da. And of course, my simple solution is, stop watching this shit, stop watching
turn off
this
the
shit,
TV.
like you're the ones who are doing this to people by having stories like this, it's just ridiculous. And it's like, man, just turn that shit off, dude. Like, fuck, man. I don't know. So at any rate, sorry, got off topic there yet again. I've seen a lot of people throw around stuff like about how oh, maybe we should do this or that, some sort of COVID passport here for interacting with society. I've heard that is not a violation supposedly of the Americans with Disabilities Act or whatever for your or the employee, whatever. It's not illegal for your employer to ask you about your vaccinations for COVID. And then also one of Biden's executive orders back in January was actually to direct agencies to assess the feasibility of linking coronavirus vaccinations to vaccine cards, also known as international certificates of vaccination or prophylaxis. There are already things like that in the world for certain areas of the world. So let's say you want to go there, you might have to have a paper showing that you have a vaccination for things like yellow fever or tuberculosis. Is there a vaccination for tuberculosis? I didn't know there was. Anyhow, according to this news article from U.S. News and World Report.
What's the headline on that one
those
again?
already exist in some places for some things. It is what to know about COVID-19 vaccine and vaccine passports and travel. And some people in here in this article say things like, oh, well, it's like kind of like, I don't know, like this, why we already have this system that works like for this. Why do we need to create some new system? Which is valid. Like if we already have this, why do we need some new system? But, whatever.
Yeah.
And of course, they're saying here that they don't know. Oh, because you have the vaccine, who knows if that actually stops transmission, which leads me to ask again, like, what's the fucking point?
Yeah, what's the point?
Or again,
like, if we don't actually know, what's the point of...
Well, yeah, and if what it does is keeps you from getting it, well, then if you're worried, get the vaccine, and then whoever's not worried doesn't get the vaccine, and then just who cares? Why do we need any other bullshit? Get the vaccine if you're worried, and if not, leave us the hell alone.
Thing, too, about, like, people are like, oh, well, if this is really like a New World Order thing, they would not want you to wear a mask because they'd want facial recognition and all this stuff. But the thing about facial recognition is that they really only need your eyes, right? And most of the time you're not covering your eyes because the eyes are like the fingerprint of the body. Most of the time you're not covering your eyes with a mask. So if they've got that, nose and mouth, those are dime a dozen. But if they get your eyes, they'll know exactly who you are. It's kind of like every snowflake is different. That's kind of like what the eyes are. And another thing too is they've got like movement recognition. I don't know exactly what you call that, but they can tell who you are almost just by movement now. Or if they don't have it already, they will have it. So
Yeah, and anybody who they wouldn't be able to track through like a cell phone, or I mean, what with all the, I mean, where are you going with this? Where you're gonna have like facial recognition, you're using an ID, in an airport or something. So they really don't need it. The very few people might be trying to fly under the radar, and then they might be smart enough to ditch a phone and not go places where they need an ID. You know, so yeah, it's they know where you're at anyhow, facial recognition or not, right?
yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely, and
Oh, I didn't mean to
it's
cut you
definitely
off.
going to be. I mean, we're not trying to scare anybody here, but we don't want to use the same like fear tactics of the media. But I mean, the problem is that I mean we've been right for years, right? Like I've been a libertarian since 2002.
Well, yeah, and there's a difference
So
between being trying to scare
everything
people and
that
helping
I
people be
thought,
prepared.
yeah, and I mean everything that I thought that was going to happen has slowly been coming true, unfortunately, and yeah, I mean we're just when it comes to like government growing in power and destroying people's liberties, um, it's just kind of like that's just what government does. So it's none of this is far fetched. We've got a very good, track record of saying, hey, like if this happens, it will be abused here, just like Guantanamo. Um, killing of American citizens, uh, without any court oversight. Um, all that stuff has happened, and the wall being used to keep us out. I definitely think that the wall along Mexico will be used to keep us out because Mexico is one of the freest countries in the world. It is, and if you go there, you'll know that it's freer than the United States. Um, People who are selling stuff at the market don't really pay or record their transactions, so they're not really paying taxes. Most of the time you don't even need a permit for stupid shit, and if you do, a lot of people just don't care and don't listen to it. So, there's a big reason why they have always wanted to scare us away from Mexico and build a wall, and restrict travel. Because if Americans start going to other countries, they'll realize that we are not free, and that there are countries and other places that are freer in lots of different categories. I'd say the one place where Americans are probably the freest in the world are guns, absolutely. But they're trying to take that away from us too. So, that's all I
So
got.
how far? I got one question for you. How far do you see a COVID passport thing going, like here domestically, like realistically, like let's say in the last year? I mean, do you think it's going to get to the point like where like yeah, like you can't fly even like domestically, or like you can't go to a concert or something? Do you think they're gonna do like rapid? Like I know a lot of places do like rapid testing. So like let's say you go to like a comedy show, they fucking test everybody, and then like so like that's a thing. But I don't know, man. What do you realistically see that? I've heard people say that shit ain't happening here, like, whatever. I don't know, man. What do you think?
I
And I
think it
guess
will
as a
be
qualifier,
slow.
do you think it'll be the
I think it'll
same
be.
everywhere, probably certain cities?
I think it'll be slow,
Mhm.
incrementalism for sure. And the only way they're going to be able to spread it is if they like were to release another virus, just like they did with COVID. It was in Anthony Fauci's lab in Wuhan that was funded by both Chinese and American government. So it was the Chinese or it was the American argument is just You know, it's just to
honestly,
really divide the country and turn each other against everyone and distract everyone. But it was, you know, look into it. It was by both. It was funded by both the American and the Chinese government, and and you know, they even said that they released it by accident. Now, whether that was on accident or purpose, you know, that's yet to be seen. But um, there was a lot of motive for them to release it. I mean, there were protests all. If you remember correctly, 2019 there were protests all around the world. There was there were protests in Iraq, Iran, Hong Kong, France with the Yellow Vest movement. You know, there's even one in Chile and one in Argentina and you know all those are gone now. You know, and all this economic um, devastation is now blamed on COVID. So there's huge incentive for them to release a not very devastating bioweapon that they can blame on other stuff. And if you look at the numbers from 2019 to 2020, it's not that big of a difference. So there's a little bit more in 2020. I forget what the exact numbers are. I don't know if we can look that up real quick, but let me see.
Well, they don't even need to like release like a new one. It's like, because look what they're doing now. They're just, oh well, there's these variants, you know, these unexpected variants, and you know, like even Fauci's like, oh well, we can't ever stop wearing masks because we don't know about these variants. There always could be a variant. So even things there isn't any proof of, he's like, oh, there's a variant, you know. So we have to do this forever, you know. So it's like at this point, it's like the work's already done, you know. Like they can just keep fucking rolling with it. Um, and people are so worked up into a frenzy. I don't know, man. And it's weird because sometimes I go out and it's like, oh, I go to these places and no one's wearing a mask, and I'm like, oh, this is cool, you know, and everyone seems to not be giving a shit and having a good time. And then like the next day I'll go somewhere else and it's like I'm the only motherfucker without a mask, you know. And it's just like, so I never know how to read it. And of course, you know, traveling town to town, things are different too. I don't know. This whole thing's weird, man. I'm a little over it.
Yeah, I'm over all the nonsense and
Yeah. I
you
mean,
know,
and I don't want to set aside a lot of the. I do think there has been a lot of positives in some of this with people, you know, just figuring out, okay, this is nonsense, or even like in my own personal life, it's kind of help me sort of figure out where I want to go or what my priorities need to be, you know.
I mean, I could definitely see like not getting a vaccine being something like the FDA using it like Ebola, right, and shutting a restaurant down. Like
Yeah.
a lot of these health inspectors would come in and be like, you know, I'm shutting you down for not following COVID regulations, blah blah blah. And the argument was always like, well, you know, it's a health issue. You know, we wouldn't want COVID in a place just like we wouldn't want Ebola in a place. And I could definitely see them using something like that for vaccines. And um, you know, I kind of think that they do want another bigger um, virus to expose the population because not only will it bring them fear, but you know, vaccines have been proven to um, people who haven't gotten vaccinated actually have better immune systems. And actually, we have numbers, don't we, Dag? We've got some kind of numbers we were looking at from earlier. If you want to bring
Let
that
me
up.
find them. Now I want to say that so this is these are from it's called PIC. God damn it, sorry guys. Physicians for Informed Consent, which I guess has a lot of stuff about you know, vaccines, and this isn't like a new thing. They've been working on this for a while. But the thing that I wanted to point out now, I tried just very briefly to find something on their website with these numbers. This is from another article about it. But basically, they were able to get 1,482 Americans who have never been vaccinated. I believe they're adults who have never been vaccinated. Supposedly, it's the biggest control group like this that's ever been assembled. And so they sort of compared like their numbers to like numbers of like people who, regular people who've been vaccinated. So just a couple of them here. Adults with chronic disease, vaccinated group, 50% of people. Unvaccinated, 5.7%. Adults with 5 or more chronic diseases, vaccinated 12%, unvaccinated 0. Adults with food allergies, vaccinated 6.5%, unvaccinated 1.1%. Developmental disabilities, vaccinated 6.99%, unvaccinated 0.81%. Digestive disorders, vaccinated 18, unvaccinated 0.04, and epilepsy 1.2% for vaccinated, unvaccinated 0.07%. And then I guess statisticians would say that those correlations being random is 1 in 1 followed by 68 zeros, whatever that number is. And there's some other stuff like, okay, we correlate between like the times when, they greatly increase the amount of vaccines, supposedly chronic illness and stuff like that has increased. It could be due to several factors. I mean, honestly, diet or whatever, things like that change. But, there is still a correlation there for sure. One guy I really like with a lot of this stuff is Jeremy R. Hammond. He does a lot of really good vaccine, by the numbers kind of things. And, just shows stuff like, how many diseases, we kind of got rid of, without vaccines, just because things like indoor plumbing and electricity and better diet and stuff like that kind of help us all live better lives. Things like measles, like wasn't really a deadly disease when the vaccine came out, but now that we've lost our natural immunity to it, it is a deadly disease again. So I don't want this kind of stuff is really not controversial, but polarizing, so I don't want to sound like I'm an anti-vaxxer. I'm not necessarily an anti-vaxxer. But I'm very pro research this shit, and we've talked about this before. I know Brandon agrees with me on this. Like the big thing is they're manufacturers of products, and they can't be sued. They can't be sued when they fuck up. So I don't trust it. If there are vaccine injuries, there's a vaccine injury court. If you win money, you're not allowed to talk about it. So and taxpayer pays it, not these companies. So there's just we don't have the opportunity for an actual market product. If we actually had a free market in the medical field, I would probably trust vaccines more, or at least some of them. But it's just kind of tough. It really is. So again, I'm not saying whether or not you should or shouldn't get any particular vaccine. That's not my place. It's just interesting. I personally will not be getting a COVID vaccine. I have no reason to, even if I wasn't afraid of the vaccine itself, like I have no reason to. I don't get a flu shot either because I don't need it. It's silly to get something unnecessary like that. And then especially this one that is not tested, like we are the guinea pigs. So, use your caution there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was more concerned about COVID than I was with the vaccine. And I didn't get tested for COVID, but I'm pretty sure I got it because I had some of the symptoms. But I refused to get tested. I refused to get something jabbed up my nose, and
go the butt way.
Or I refused to give them more numbers to
that's my thing
against
exactly,
us and shut down the economy. So.
And then your name's on a list that you had a positive test. So who fucking knows, down the road what that could mean too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, probably nothing. I don't want to sound too crazy, but again, why give them the ammo? If you don't have to. No need for that shit.
I wanted to give a shout out to a new listing on Agorist Nexus. It's called Agorist Acres, and they sell seeds, and they even donate a small percentage back to Agorist Nexus so that we keep content going. So, get some seeds from an Agorist business. Help yourself stay. Give yourself a sustainable lifestyle with seeds while helping the Agora and helping content be created with the Agorist Nexus. So you really kill, and you're creating food. So you kill at least 4 birds with one stone. on that one.
Yeah,
So,
they have the option to pay with cryptocurrency as well.
yeah, no KYC seats.
Yep. But hey, man, if you got some profits you want to work out from this recent crypto boom, head on over, and you can also use code Nexus10 and you'll get 10% off. So check that out.
Man,
that's our first official plug.
Yeah, Agorist Nexus even has their own code.
Yep. So bringing value to our listeners.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't trust the government, and the problem is that government controls. Either the medical industry controls the government, or the government controls the medical industry. But regardless of such, regardless of which one it is, it's very, very concerning. Either way.
Yeah, I'm sure it's actually both. A little from column A, a little from column B.
Yeah, absolutely.
Scratch each other's backs.
Well, I mean,
I took my dog today, and he got shots. His yearly shots. And it's funny. I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I trust his shots because it's like, what agenda would somebody have to do something like have vaccine? I don't know, some sort of weird vaccine thing with my dog. But it's almost like there is more of like a free market with those, too. Like they're probably not nearly as regulated. But it's, I don't know. It's just interesting. I was thinking about it. Like, I'm like, we're going to be recording this tonight and we're going to be talking about vaccines. I know it. Like, here I am getting my dog vaccinated like I do every year, but not concerned about it. But again, why would I be? Like, what are they going to control my little Wally for?
All right.
So I know I'm worried about it. It's still dark there.
So to stay on topic, I want to kind of shift a little bit to like past historical events with vaccines.
Sure.
And Nazism. So, and a lot of this, they won't teach you in school, and it's because who knows, right? Who knows why they won't teach you in school? I could just come up with a whole list of stuff and be like, well, it could be any one of those, but there's this great book, and let me get the author's name. The book's called Five Chimneys, and I think it's by a woman named Olga. I'm gonna butcher this last name. Sorry, Olga Lingiel. And let me just read the outline of the book here. Olga Lingiel tells, frankly and without compromise, one of the most horrifying stories of all time. This true documented chronicle is intimate day-to-day record of a beautiful woman who survived the nightmare of Auschwitz and Birkenau. I probably butchered that. This book is a necessary reminder of one of the ugliest chapters in human history, civilization. It was a shocking experience. It is a shocking book. And I saw a good video on this by Really Graceful. So check out her YouTube channel. But in the book, she talks about how she was like, she's like a nurse, and she got she's not even Jewish, I don't think, but she got captured by the Nazis, and she was saying in the book, like 70% of the camp wasn't Jewish; they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and got put there. But a lot of them were being tested in the camps. So a lot of the Jews were just exterminated right away. And the rest of the non-Jewish people were pretty much left to do this like slave labor. And in the book, she says how these prisoners were being tested with vaccines to basically sterilize them, so that they would have a solution to like genetically not being German. They could use these vaccines to sterilize people so that they couldn't contaminate in the Nazis' words, not mine, so that they wouldn't contaminate the German genetics, the German bloodlines, and it's very interesting because a lot of the scientists working on these vaccines went over to the U.S. And the company behind these vaccinations in Germany is a company called Bayer and Monsanto, and then both of these companies are still around today. So there's that, and then if you look at Operation Paperclip, a lot of these Nazi scientists were moved, to the U.S. Without any trial or anything. Even though they committed horrible acts, they were pretty much given a free pass to basically, work for the U.S. So, and oftentimes history repeats itself, or at least rhymes, or is very similar, just like how the American Empire is collapsing a lot like Rome did, and I think many times we have to look at history and evaluate, similarities. The people behind these vaccines, especially Bill Gates, who has put money into every single vaccine company on the planet and has influence over every single vaccine company on the planet. Well, his father's a eugenicist, first of all. His mother worked for the Federal Reserve, and he's talked about depopulation. So, and none of these companies are liable for any damages. So there's a lot of unknowing, and for me, the risk of getting vaccinated is, in my eyes, it's a lot more harmful than it would be not to be vaccinated. Because I've already survived the flu. I survived the flu every single year, right? Just like everybody else. So, maybe if I'm 80 or 90, I'll, self-isolate or, whatever. But maybe, I'd probably risk it just to see my grandchildren. Like, you only have one life, and why?
What else you living for at 80 or 90? If it's not to see your grandkids.
Yeah, exactly. So I just thought that was interesting. Check out the book 5 Chimneys. Check out Really Graceful on YouTube. She goes into really good detail about that. And I'm not saying that they're that they're trying to exterminate the Jews and make sure German bloodlines are pure or anything now, but the possibility of it being like widespread depopulation is, if that's what it really is, then that's what I think it is too.
Like, because there's just how many people like I know, like in real life, who are fine people, but they they express that to me, that the world's overpopulated and we like that's a thought that people have, and I don't really think they realize the implications of what they're saying, when they say that. But there's it's a popular notion, and that's kind of one of the things that's kind of like scary about all this, is that like there's like eugenicists have been around for a long time, and a lot of the people that we're taught to like revere are like eugenicists, or their ideas were put up because, so like Charles Darwin, for instance, like the reason, like I'm not saying I don't believe in evolution. That's not what I'm saying, guys. I'm saying that there were other people other than Darwin who had theories about evolution around a similar time, but we know about Darwin for a reason. Like his cousin was like, or somebody related to him was like one of the big like eugenicists. So like his ideas really fit that, and really gave them scientific backing. for those kinds of ideas. And again, I'm not saying that Darwin's right or wrong. I'm just saying that for 150 years or more, people have had these kind of ideas, and they are more than willing to act on them. And probably what's more scary is like they're not like knowingly evil. Like they just think they're smart, and they think they're doing shit to like help society, like in a lot of ways. And like that's like the scariest shit, because I don't know, man. It's just a weird mindset. It's a weird kind of person to have to deal with, and it's just terrifying that other people see your life as not just valueless, but like actually antithetical to the value of everybody else's life. So it's they're still out there, and it's just terrifying. It's definitely something you gotta keep on your toes. And it doesn't hurt to like if you have a friend who says something like that, like remind them, like like before Corona came out, people who are now all freaking out about Corona. I have screenshots of friends of mine who post things like, we need a meteor or a virus to come through and wipe out some of the population and this and that. And it's like you really need to sit down, like think about what you just said. Tell me that's not disturbing and disgusting. And I've said shit like that too when I was younger and stupider. So, like I get it, like I get that notion, but it's like really, when you think about it, it's really anti-human. It's really awful. I don't want my nieces and nephews to not exist. I don't want them to not have the joy of having children. Like it's so I don't know. I just don't know what people actually want to do about that idea of the world being overpopulated. It's like either you want to act on it and you're sick, or you don't, and we're just musing, and then I don't know, whatever. I guess we just have a conversation.
I think it is a myth because you can fit most of the population within Texas. And when it comes to resources, I think the market will solve all those things. The government will just get out of the way. Man. And also, there's
people don't take into account is the technological advances.
Yeah, exactly. And there's space too, and Mars, and there's all kinds of different like metals out there, and asteroid mining, and so
the Earth's hollow. We can just move in there.
Well, I don't know about that.
But, sorry, that's for another podcast.
But yeah, there's all these other resources out there that there's asteroids that have thousands of gallons of water, and there's asteroids that have platinum and gold and silver and all these different metals. So and we can always replant trees and stuff like that. So I just and then there's whole entire other planets out there. So I'm not concerned about space because I think most of the population can fit. Most of the world's population can fit inside the area of Texas, if not all of it. And then there's all kinds of resources in space. So I don't really think that that depopulation is really A, necessary, or B, something that's a viable option. And another thing too is like the biggest gift of humanity is the genius that occurs. And when I say the genius, I mean like there's that one light bulb moment where like a great idea just plops into the head of some of these great men. And I think it happens to everyday men too, where just this one great idea just strikes them and they're like, holy crap, I have to act on this. And they end up doing, something amazing and something that changes all of humanity, whether it be Einstein or some of these other scientists or inventors. And like the Apple moment for Isaac Newton. So I think it's more important to preserve humanity and create life extension so that we don't lose the knowledge and the knowledge and the brilliance and the experience and just the pure genius that comes with humans. I want everybody to live a lot longer because we need all of that intelligence to be able to solve all these problems in the future, whether it be some kind of catastrophic event or solving things in space, or I want all of humanity to work together to be able to be multiplanetary and out among the stars. And I know I'm sounding like Elon Musk right now, but yeah, I want the biggest, brightest future for humanity as possible, and I think freedom is the best way to do that. That's kind of why I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up everything I've got. What about you, Dag?
Yeah, man. I think this has been a long one. I think we got a lot covered.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up with not only one quote but several quotes, just for you guys to think about.
Hold on, let me get my quote list.
All right.
Let's see. Okay. All right, we just want to run through these. These are, well, I guess we'll say who they're all by quite relatively famous politicians and personalities.
Yeah, or global influencers or global leaders.
Fuckeries.
Yeah.
All right. All right. The problem that we have is not globalization. The problem is a lack of global governance. Professor Klaus Schwab, founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum.
All right. And I'll do the next one here. Some even believe we are part of a cabal working against the best interests of the United States, characterizing my family and me as internationalists and of conspiring with others around the world to build a more integrated global political and economic structure. One world, if you will. If that's the charge, I stand guilty, and I am proud of it. David Rockefeller in his 2002 autobiography Memoirs, page 405.
Adding a sterilant to drinking water or staple foods is a suggestion that seems to horrify people most than most proposals for involuntarily fertility control. I'm sorry, that one reads funny to me. Than most proposals for involuntarily fertility control. I guess he. Sorry, that's I can't read that name. John Holdren. So what's he saying there? He's just saying like that particular method just seems to be the most terrifying to people of all the involuntary fertility control measures. I guess because
Yeah,
it's
so he's
secretive.
basically saying like it's
That comma and hyphen just throws me off. It throws off my whole flow.
yeah. Yeah, definitely look into this guy, John Holdren. He's very interesting. If you guys don't know who he is, but John Holdren. Well, we'll do that. Well, yeah, just Google him. So
Research him.
Yeah, Presearch him. Depopulation should be the highest priority of foreign policy towards the third world because the U.S. economy will require large and increasing amounts of minerals from abroad, especially from less developed countries. Henry A. Kissinger.
So kill a bunch of people so we can steal their shit is what he's like literally saying. Fucking ridiculous. All right. This planet might be able to support perhaps as many as 500 million people who could live sustainable life in relative comfort. Human populations must be greatly diminished and as quickly as possible to limit further environmental damage. U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Dude, seriously? God.
Right? This one's good.
Yeah.
In the event that I am reincarnated, I would like to return as a deadly virus in order to contribute something to solve overpopulation. Prince Philip. That's Queen Elizabeth II. That's her husband at the moment.
And by the way, if that's really how you feel, what kind of pussy are you that you don't A, act on it in your regular life, or B, I mean, fuck, you're like a fucking head. I mean, you're high up political something or other. I don't know how they work over there, but like, I'm sure he has the authority to like drop a bomb on somebody. Like, if he really just wants to kill people, quit talking about it and go fucking do it. Pussies. Anyhow, obviously, I'm not saying he should do that. I'm just saying, like, why wait till you're dead?
I mean, some of these people have probably been acting on it for quite a while.
He probably has. I mean, he's probably like eaten 73 children in his life. He looks like a children eater to me.
Uh-huh.
The world has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 to 15%. Bill Gates. I was trying to get a little bit of Bill Gates voice there. I don't know. I'm bad at impressions.
A total population of 250 to 300 million people, a 95% decline from present levels would be ideal. Ted Turner.
Shut the hell up, Ted. Nobody cares about you. All right, last one, guys. In order to finalize the New World Order process, we need a third world war to exterminate 90% of the global population. This will resolve the problem of human overpopulation as well as put an end to civil disobedience. We will then proceed to automize industry and create a globalized feudalist system in the name of saving our planet. Jeff Rothschild. VP of, thank you. VP of Facebook. Speech given in China.
Yeah, he's not only
fine print.
He's not only part of the Rothschild family, but he's a VP of Facebook. So,
dude, it's just so amazing to me, like, you know, that like these like quotes are just out there, and like I don't know, but we're crazy. I don't know.
It's stupid. we're the crazy ones, but these people are saying all this murderous rhetoric like out in the open with no consequences, and you know, I think that we really need to pay attention to what these people say, and I think what they say is what they mean and what they want to do. So, yeah, I mean, you know, it's part of the manual, right? Like listen to your enemies, and yeah, what they're saying is that you know, they don't want you around. They want to exterminate 90 to 95% of the planet. So that's what all these same people are saying. And they're all in bed with each other. They're all global elitists that are part of this the Bilderberg, you know, group and yeah. So
yeah, pay attention to these guys, know what's going on, but don't let it run your life, and don't like fret too much either. You know, I mean, you guys still got to live. Just, you know, be as informed as possible. Don't fret too much about shit you can't change. Otherwise, man, plant a fucking garden, print some fucking guns, get some fucking crypto, and you know, live and be happy.
Gold and silver, yeah,
do it
with generators and extra propane. So
yeah, and hookers and blackjack,
cocaine.
Woo! That's all I got.
That's all we got, guys. Agorist Nexus is out.
Peace.